So the gap is still 5 after Europe won that last game, 14-9 at Weber Cup 17 here in Manchester. And up next, a replay of a match that we saw yesterday. Jesper Svensson, a big winner of a Parker Bohn III. Can he reverse that and can he get his revenge? There's definitely been an interesting atmosphere today between the two teams. It's a little bit more aggression than we've seen in previous years, and it's fascinating to watch and very enjoyable as well. Let's head back over to Cass Edwards and Wayne Boyce.
So Cass, the youngest player here at the Weber Cup, against the oldest, 53 years of age, Parker Bohn III, who is currently on a run of 3 successive losses in his last 3 games here at the Weber Cup. Svensson, the 21-year-old from Sweden, in sensational form. We like to exclude the baker when we're talking about things like this, Cass. So it's 5 out of 5, 3 singles and 2 doubles wins for Svensson. He's in electric form at the moment, and the American captain really up against it.
Yeah, last night these two were drawn together. Jesper only hit 245 against Parker's 189, and yeah, Jesper's on a roll. His last 3 singles were 264, 278 and 245. Yeah, as you said, Wayne, as you said earlier, the 21-year-old versus the 53-year-old. Parker was actually bowling on the American tour 11 years before Jesper was even born, and that is some contrast.
Leaves the one up. Mind you, Cass, I think you were bowling 11 years before I was born as well.
Let's not go anywhere near that. This is potentially, let's call it a match of the day. The eldest versus the youngest. 2 left-handers playing down the same side of the lane. One a double-hander, one a single-hander. Everything's set up for a great match.
He takes the spare, Parker Bohn III. He must have really been dreading the draw when he saw it, Parker Bohn III, as if to say, Cass, not again. He's up against Svensson, who's really high in confidence, whereas Bohn has got a few demons to battle here. How do you cope with that? You
have to put everything in the past behind you, take every new game literally as that. Parker Bohn knows what he can do. He can shoot 300 if he wanted to, or not if he wanted to, but he's certainly capable of it. But yeah. Here we go. Yes, for Svensson, strike. Yeah, no, Parker's got to put it behind him. I think this is a new game. It's 10 frames each, and there's no reason why he can't win.
11 pins in front. The 21-year-olds. Parker Bohn III, his 2nd appearance in the Weber Cup, his 1st as captain. 44% strike rate.
Parker Bohn just having a bit of eye contact there with someone in the audience. He shot himself a strike in frame 2. He scored a 49. So he's broken the ice, he's got a strike.
He certainly needed that. We're talking about how you prepare and how you build your confidence. Well, that's the natural way of doing it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're not going to say too much about these stats. This guy, Jesper Svensson, has just won the toughest tournament in the world, the Tournament of Champions in the United States. But Parker's won basically everything else, including a World Championship. And look at that, crikey.
Oh, there you go. There could be a twist in the tail.
It's a 4 and the 8-pin split off of a ball which goes in just a fraction high on the headpin. Let's watch this one. Wide from the outside. It's heavy on the headpin. The 4 stands, the 8 stands. And it's a small split. It's very makeable, but he's got to hit that 4-pin, that 6-pin, left-hand side and bounce it across. Possibilities of being an open frame.
This is a big shot for Jesper Svensson. And he doesn't make it. It is an open frame. And Parker Bohn III has himself a 10-pin advantage just 2 frames in.
Which will certainly make him feel better. How long for, we're not sure, but he's got a chance to double up here with another strike.
Well, on paper and on current form, Jesper Svensson will have been the favourite ahead of this on paper, but when has form ever counted for anything at the Weber Cup?
Well, yes, you're quite right, Wayne. American captain needs a big shot here and makes it. Hits him a little bit thin, it spins all the pins around, and he's taken 10, and it's 2 strikes in a row. Certainly needs a captain's innings, doesn't he? Yeah, pretty expressionless. He knows he's got a lot of work to do. He knows how much damage that Jesper Svensson can cause.
He needs a big one here, Svensson, after that open frame, and the fact that Parker Bohn III is weighed in with a double.
Both players obviously being left-handers, playing down that left-hand side. They could both well be corrupting one another's line with that bowling ball going down in the same area, but Svensson's back with a strike in the third.
Yeah, he doesn't stay off track for long, does he?
Closes the gap to just 10 pins. A little bit fortunate to kick out that 10 pin on the right-hand side, but it still counts.
He's up 5 times in this session, Svensson. Don Barrett really keen to get Europe across the line and really put the pressure on the USA by keeping his in-form man out there. And the run of strikes comes to an end for Parker Bohn III.
Yeah, he couldn't go 3 in a row, so this can only be a 9 spare, which will be worth 19. The legend that is Parker Bohn. There's 105 300 games to his credit on the American tour. Takes the spare away nicely, but that's not what he's looking for.
Well, if he can strike here, Svensson, we'll have a 1-point advantage, and he can forget about that open frame that he had in the second. From what you were saying earlier though, Cass, two-handed players more susceptible to open frames?
Not necessarily, but if they're not in the pocket, they do tend to sometimes leave weird combinations.
A bit like me and you.
Sounds like a pizza, doesn't it?
Oh, leaves the 7.
Yes, he had a bit of a messenger flying around there. Thought it was going to go over, but just dropped off the back of the pin deck. Look at that. That may well have taken the pin out if it hadn't dropped off. Can only be 9. Can only be a spare.
A couple of pins tried to take it down, but it wasn't to be. And he's missed his chance to get in front. He needs this to remain within 10. It's proving much closer than probably many people thought.
Well, that's right, yeah. It's the open frame has made a difference there to Svensson. I mean, that wasn't far off a strike, actually, so his score would have been a lot higher. But at the moment, it's only 4 frames down, so there's a long way to go. Only trouble is for Parker Bohn, it goes very quickly.
Lovely shot from the American captain, strike number 3 from 5 frames.
I see quite a contrast in the style and the speed of the ball here. Not so much rotation, not so much speed. It hits the pocket and carries 10, which Svensson does, but he just bowls it a lot harder and faster. Meaning you don't necessarily have to bowl as fast with so much rotation as Svensson.
Well, if he can come up on top here, Parker Bohn III, it would be, I think, fair to say, the second big surprise of the afternoon. I don't think many expected Carl Troop to come out on top against Don Barrett.
Yeah, Parker's lost 4 singles matches on the bounce.
Great shot from Svensson.
He's certainly not going to give up at the halfway stage. There's a long way to go. Svensson's back in there. Still holds that 10-pin lead, does Parker Bohn at the halfway stage, but both players working on a strike.
Strikes in 3 of the last 4 frames for Parker Bohn the third. And although he's throwing first, there's a lot of pressure on him because he'll expect Svensson to strike every time, given his current strike rate. Rings the 10-pin note.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. He is under pressure, although you couldn't tell by the look on his face. I think both guys are under pressure really here in this single lane format, head-to-head, one game.
Final day of the Weber Cup as well brings its own pressure.
I was going to say, especially with the new scoring system from the World Bowling Association. Parker takes a spare, worth 19. Nice strike here for Svensson. We'll put him back in the lead, only by 1 pin. Will be enough.
Yeah, we're where we were a couple of frames ago.
Yeah, pretty much backwards and forwards all the way through, and as I say, it's part of the scoring system that makes televised bowling finals so unique, and it is a unique scoring system.
Absolute silence inside Event City. Great shot again from Svensson. Rips the deck apart for the second time in succession, and he does edge in front by that 1 pin.
Fourth strike for Jesper Svensson. Comes up slightly light in the pocket, but that doesn't matter. He's carried all 10. He's got enough power, velocity and rotation to take all those pins out. Sets up that chain reaction in the pin deck.
Born in 1995, Svensson. Just 5 years later, Parker Bohn III was being inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame.
You may notice that Jesper Svensson has his date of birth tattooed on his right arm in Roman numerals. You can't quite see it there, but it's his right forearm underneath in Roman numerals. His date of birth, 15/11/95, I believe it is.
Oh, the 7-pen wobble.
2 frames in a row without a strike for Parker Bohn. I mean, it's not a bad looking shot. Unfortunately, that 4-pin just goes flat into the gutter and does nothing.
Takes away the spare. But Svensson with a chance to increase his lead now. He could go to 178 if he takes away the deck again.
It's amazing how quickly the game can turn around and scores can change. The other unique thing about Svensson is, and you'll notice when he slides up to the foul line, he actually delivers the ball, and he's about 1.5 feet back from the foul line. Just keep an eye on where his sliding foot finishes it once that ball's delivered. Way back from the foul line. Almost takes another 10, but he's not going to take 10. He'll be happy for the single pin in the corner, which can be a 9 spare.
Neither one of them, Cass, can seem to get away in this game at the moment. They both had chances, and that was a big one for Svensson.
Yeah, it's nip and tuck. He's lucky to get that 5-pin out. It was a light hit on the head pin. It was a 10-pin standing, so he's going to go across lane for this one, hard and straight.
Well, they have a commanding lead, Europe, but they've yet to really crack the United States, you feel.
Well, the spare there just takes him to 167, so it's still just only a 1-pin lead for the Europeans. We're coming down to frame 8, running out of frames now. It may well be as simple as whoever doesn't strike will not win the game. 2 pretty good looking score sheets, apart from that 1 open frame for Svensson in frame number 2. It's gone. No, no, it hasn't. Crikey, how hard do you have to hit that one? I thought that was gone for certainty.
I don't think he was fully happy with the shot, Cass, was he? He was talking to himself under his breath, but very, very nearly the messenger trying to take out the 7.
An absolute wobbler, wasn't it? Another 9 spare for Parker Bohn. That's 3 in a row.
Well, he got away with it last time because Svensson only spared, but if the Swede can take all 10 here, he'll go to 197 and have a 12-pin advantage with 2 frames to go.
Yeah, Bohn's only had 3 strikes. Svensson's had 4. It's just a slight difference at the moment, but we are coming down to the last couple of frames, so a strike here may well set the European up for a victory.
Yeah, Bohn the third has remained clean, but could be 12 pins down here. Big shot for Svensson, and he's ripped through them again! It's a 12-pin lead for Jesper Svensson.
How different this is to Parker Bohn's shot. Parker Bohn got a spare and made 19. Svensson's put the ball in pretty much the same place and taken 30 pins because he got the strike.
And Parker Bohn the third, remember, only scored 189, the only sub-200 game that we've had at this Weber Cup the last time these two met. He'll go past that with this ball. And he goes past it well with a strike. It's another 30, takes him to 215, and really it was the only possible response.
Just at the right time, it's the foundation frame, frame number 9. And although he looks pretty cool as a cucumber, I'm sure he's very worried inside at what this man is going to do here. Strike for a 12-pin lead.
Only once though as he doubled up in frames 5 and 6. First strike was followed by an open frame. And he's had 2 spares into the mix as well. Could really do with a second double in this game.
Could really do with a strike here, a strike in the 10th to sew up the victory.
Doesn't get it.
Just the 9. Crikey, this is going all the way to the wire. This unique scoring system takes these 2 players to the 10th frame, and it's still not over.
Well, if he takes this spare, there'll be 1 pin difference. And remember, Carl Troop beat Don Barrett in the opening match of this session by just 1 pin.
Yes,
how tight is it again?
It will come down to a single ball roll-off in the 10th frame. First of all, of course, he has to make this spare. No one thinks he's possibly going to miss it. He'll take this 99 times out of 100. He'll spare this.
And no silly mistakes from Svensson.
Thank you, Jesper. So there we are, 10th frame up. It's one pin difference, advantage to Team Europe.
Impressive looking scorecard from Svensson, as you say, Cass, apart from that second frame. Parker Bohn the third, clean throughout, but he really does need a strike here.
Well, the player that doesn't strike is going to lose.
It is a 1-frame shootout, as has so often been the case at Weber Cup 2016.
For Parker Bohn, this must be a strike.
Carry!
No!
And it's not! Oh dear! And you can see Parker's disappointment. He hit the pocket, he left the ringing 7-pin, and that, unfortunately, may well be a defeat for Team USA.
Annoyed with himself, things not going well for the American captain. 234 the score.
A 9 spare is good enough for Jesper Svensson here, but he'll want to take a strike. But a 9 spare will give him a 1-pin victory.
Chance for Svensson to make it 6 out of 6 if you exclude his defeat in the Baker.
A 7 spare will be a defeat. An 8 spare will be a tie. 9 spare or a strike will be a victory.
Massive shot for Svensson. Go on, say the crowd, and he gets it with a strike. It is another win for this remarkable rookie. And Cass, has there ever been a better debut performance at the Webber Cup?
Not that I can believe, no. The strike machine strikes out, wins another point. He keeps his average up. The man is just an absolute machine. At 21 years of age, leading the European side to yet another victory.